Yo, hey, this shit easy, nigga. Hey, all I'm talking about, nigga, I'm still out here trying to get it.
Contender Regime Boxing, checking back in with y'all, man. What's good, man? What's good? Shout out to everybody watching, everybody supporting the channel, everybody liking and subscribing. We just hit 10,000 subscribers. Out the mud, all off the muscle. No special effects, no glitz, no glamour. But you know we gonna continue to go up and continue to elevate. I just wanna thank all of y'all, man, for supporting the channel, man, for me making my first video in 2018. Why I think Errol Spence beats Terence Crawford, part 1. You dig what I'm saying? And it just so happens that we finally here. We have the fight. Earl the True Spence Jr. versus Terence Bud Crawford, the biggest fight of them all, the best fight of them all, the most meaningful and most valuable fight of them all. And we just wrapped up the second official press conference in New York. Phenomenal. I didn't do like an immediate reaction of the second press conference like I did on the first one because all the talking is really over. The only talking that we need to do at this point is about the fight. You dig what I'm saying? But shout out to both guys. You know, the second press conference was a little bit more lively than the first one. A little bit more banter and trash talk back and forth. A little bit more serious. Both guys said, had some comments and things that they had to say that was interesting, man. But in this video, I want to talk about the one crucial thing. Y'all know I'm picking Errol Spence in this fight. And I've given y'all many reasons why. But I've always been objective with this fight. Just because I'm picking Errol Spence don't mean I think Terence Crawford is trash. Just because I'm on one side and other people might be on another side, that don't mean I don't value or appreciate or recognize the abilities, talent, and skills that Terence Crawford brings to the table. That's why this fight is what it is. That's why my first video was about this fight. That was right when Terence Crawford was getting ready to move up to 147. He hadn't even had a fight at 147 yet. That's why this fight is what it is, because both fighters are great. I just think Errol Spence is the better guy. But I want to talk about the one crucial thing that Terence Crawford must do to be able to beat Errol Spence. Now, Terence Crawford, we know that Errol Spence has a phenomenal jab. Derrick James trains his fighters to be very fundamental and disciplined and structured and always have that base that they can rely on and build from that, which is what makes his fighters who they are. It's what allows them to be able to withstand the test of times throughout 12 rounds. It allows them to always have something to fall back on, always be able to make adjustments and build off of that foundation. And a great jab, steadfast combination punches, going to the body, great distance control, great punch placement, great stamina and conditioning to be able to continue and carry that on throughout the duration of the fight. But just talking about Errol Spence's jab and how phenomenal and how varied it is, being able to throw it to the head, to the body, using it to occupy the opponent's guard, using it to pin the guard and then take shit down to the body, pin the guard up top, take shit down to the body, being able to set up the overhand left. It's so many ways that Errol Spence uses. He uses also as a power jab. There's so many ways that Errol Spence uses that jab, which allows him to dominate guys. It allows him to control the pace of the fight. It allows him to be the ring general, which the judges love so much. That's why I say it's hard to beat Errol Spence on the cards, because he's going to throw hella punches. All the shit that he throwing coming behind the jab, he's coming forward, or even if he's fighting at mid-range, or like when he fought Mikey off the back foot for the first 7, 8, 9 rounds. You know what I'm saying? Everything off the jab. That's boxing 101. You bring everything behind the jab. It ain't rocket science, but Derrick James just has a formula that allows that and the athletes to be able to put that shit on display at the most elite level. So talking about Errol Spence's jab, in order for Terence Crawford to beat Errol Spence, he has to take that jab away. He has to take it away. Now, how does Terence Crawford take the jab away? Now, we know that the only way that you can give yourself a physical advantage of taking the jab away is you have to be in the opposite stance of the opponent. You have to be in the opposite stance of the jabber. So, for instance, when Terence Crawford fought Kell Brook, he started that fight off. The whole first round, he fought orthodox. The second round, he started orthodox, and then towards the end, he switched southpaw. Why did he switch southpaw? Because when he was in the orthodox stance, in which Kell Brook is an orthodox fighter, the jab, he doesn't have his lead hand right across from the jab, which allows him to parry it and, throw it off and, block it and then bring his shit right behind it too. He can counter you with it. You know what I'm saying? After you try to, Kell Brook throw his jab, you can try to throw your jab over that. You know what I'm saying? Or you can set him up like he did with Kell Brook, run Kell Brook into a shot when he switched southpaw. You know what I'm saying? Because when you southpaw against an orthodox fighter, your jab is across their jab. But when he was in orthodox, Kell Brook was tagging his ass up with that jab. Terence Crawford struggles with the jab versus somebody who has a great jab with good timing on it and just good punch placement on it. In 2 rounds, Terence Crawford's right eye got puffy because Kell Brook, coming from the orthodox side, his right eye got puffy off 2 rounds of the jab. 2 rounds. Terence Crawford understood that, because every time Terence Crawford was trying to get his jab off, even though Terence Crawford has a longer reach than Kell Brook. Terence Crawford has 74-inch reach. Kell Brook has 69. Errol Spence got 72-inch reach. Terence Crawford ain't never fought nobody with this type of reach, with this type of jab. You feel what I'm saying? So Kell Brook, with considerably smaller, shorter reach than Errol Spence and Terence Crawford, was getting his jab off at will, just timing Bud. Just timing him. Every time Bud even think about trying to jump, bop, knocking his head back. Had his right eye puffy off the jab. What Terence Crawford do? He switched to southpaw, which we know that he's most comfortable. Terence Crawford really is southpaw. He might be naturally born a right-handed guy, but he's more comfortable in the southpaw stance. When he switched southpaw, Kell Brook really couldn't get that jab off no more, because now Terence Crawford's right hand is right over his jab. So anytime Kell Brook try to throw that jab, Terence Crawford, his right hand is the closest thing to him. Now he can either get his jab off first, you know what I'm saying, or he can, like I said, counter you, wait for Kell to throw his jab, then counter. And then he can catch you charging in, which he did with Kell Brook. Kell Brook thought it was sweet because, he was landing that jab early on. So, Kell Brook, famous for the 1-2, he started to bring the 1-2 behind it, and he charged in. Terence Crawford timed, boom, caught him with the right hand. The reason Terence Crawford switching southpaw gives a lot of guys troubles because he's fighting mostly orthodox fighters, and that right, when he switches southpaw, is not just a regular jab no more. That right hand is a jab and it's a power punch. It's a huge fucking weapon. That's what makes Terence Crawford great when he's in there and he make that switch to southpaw versus these orthodox fighters. That's one of the things that make him so dangerous, because he's switching to his dominant hand. And he's been doing this shit since he was a kid. He's learned how to fight in that stance, even having his dominant hand as the lead hand and using that bitch in so many ways. And one of the things I noticed is when Terence Crawford switches to that southpaw, and he don't use that right hand just like a regular jab. He can, but that bitch turned into more so a power punch. Let me tell you how that relates to Errol Spence. Errol Spence is a natural southpaw. When he switches to, I think Terence Crawford is most comfortable fighting in the southpaw. And I'm going to give you a reason why. Terence Crawford fought Felix Diaz, who was a southpaw. Terence Crawford fought that whole fight in southpaw. The whole fight he fought it in southpaw. He didn't stay in orthodox to take the jab away, because, again, in order for him to be able to do what he did with Kell Brook to take that jab away, you have to put your lead hand over the cross of the jab, which means if you're fighting a southpaw, not like he's about to do with Errol Spence, he's gonna have to fight in orthodox the whole fight if you want to take the jab away, because we know that the jab from Errol Spence is gonna be active all night. He gonna have to fight in orthodox to take that jab away, which I believe Terence Crawford is more comfortable fighting southpaw. If he's fighting orthodox, I think, in my opinion, he will be lessening himself. And let me tell you how. Let me tell you how I know that. Because when he fought Felix Diaz, who was a southpaw, he fought him in southpaw. He didn't fight him in orthodox to take the jab away. Why? Because Felix Diaz was a way smaller man. Like, I think they fought at 135. He was way smaller. He didn't have a great jab. He didn't have the size of Errol Spence, the jab of Errol Spence, the reach of Errol Spence. He didn't have any other things that Errol Spence bringing to the table. Fought that guy in southpaw the whole fight, played with him, toyed with him. You know what I'm saying? He just fought him. He didn't have to take no jab away, because Felix Diaz didn't have no damn jab to take away. Another southpaw he fought, Julius Ndongo, for Undisputed at 140. Ndongo had reach, but he didn't have a great jab. He didn't have the pressure and the distance control of Errol Spence. He didn't have the active and varied jab of Errol Spence. Terence Crawford fought Ndongo, another southpaw, in the southpaw stance the whole fight. He did not go to orthodox to take the jab away. Why? Because he didn't have to. They didn't have no fucking jab to take away. With Errol Spence, he can't just fight Errol Spence in southpaw just because he's comfortable fighting in southpaw, and that's where he feel like he can get off his biggest shots. Because Errol Spence is the natural southpaw. When you're fighting, just like with Kell Brook, when you're fighting in the same stance as the opponent, you're gonna give the better jabber is gonna have the advantage. When you're fighting in the same stance, the guy with the best jab is gonna have the advantage. Errol Spence is the guy with the better jab. You dig what I'm saying? That jab is going to be in a straight line of fire, and Terence Crawford's eyes going to get puffy off the jab if he doesn't do this thing right here, which is fighting. If he don't learn how to stay in orthodox the whole fight, stay disciplined, and take Errol Spence's jab away. That's the only way that I see Terence Crawford winning this fight. He going to have to fight orthodox the whole fight and take Errol Spence's jab away. I think that once Terence Crawford, I think he gonna come out in the fight, fighting orthodox. He gonna try it out. He gonna try to see if he can take Errol Spence's jab away. But one thing he gonna find out is that Errol Spence been fighting orthodox fighters his whole life as a true southpaw, and guys try to parry Spence's jab away all the time to no avail. Kell Brook tried it. Mikey Garcia tried it. Danny Garcia tried it. You know what I'm saying? These guys are great counterpunchers. You feel me? Guys with good jabs. Errol Spence being so used to fighting orthodox fighters, Terence Crawford showing up as an orthodox fighter is not going to give Errol Spence anything that he haven't seen before. You dig what I'm saying? And I think Errol Spence will be comfortable fighting Terence. I think Errol Spence going to be comfortable fighting him in the orthodox or southpaw, unless Terence Crawford can do what nobody else has done, do what not even himself has done, is fight a southpaw in orthodox and take the jab away. You know what I'm saying? I think Terence Crawford going to come out in orthodox. He going to try it. He going to try it, but he going to realize, like, damn, Errol Spence comfortable. He comfortable with me in orthodox. Let me go to southpaw where I'm more comfortable. Now, Terence Crawford in the southpaw stance, he probably going to be more explosive. He probably going to be quicker. He probably going to be more confident. He going to get off his biggest shots. But you're giving up the line of fire for Errol Spence's southpaw jab. If Terence Crawford want to beat Errol Spence, he going to have to stay committed to the orthodox stance. He going to have to stay committed to the orthodox stance. That's the only way I see Terence Crawford beating Errol Spence. He going to have to stay, and he going to have to use that left hand, that lead left hand, as a jab and as a power punch to try to take advantage of Errol Spence's aggressiveness and run him into a shot just like he did Kell Brook. Or catch him with a lead left hook when Errol Spence get a little bit too confident and aggressive. And I think Terence Crawford has the skills and ability and the IQ to do it, but he got to show me because I never seen him do it. When he fought and down the two most notable southpaws that we have on record that he fought, he didn't fight them in orthodox because they didn't have a jab that he needed to take away. He fought him in southpaw because that's where he's most comfortable. And I think after a couple of rounds, it might just be one round because that he gonna realize Errol Spence hella comfortable fighting in southpaw versus an orthodox fighter. I think he gonna switch to southpaw where he most comfortable, and from there, Errol Spence's jab is gonna be a big factor. At that point, it's just gonna be a matter. It's gonna be shit. Can Terence Crawford catch him with a shot? Because Errol Spence gonna be getting to work. You give Errol Spence that line of fire with the jab, I'm telling y'all, bruh, after 2-3 rounds, Terence Crawford eye gonna be puffy. It's gonna start swelling up, and that's when he gonna be in trouble. He gonna have vision problems in the ring. The shit gonna get tougher and tougher round after round after round. And he fucking around and have an accumulation of ass whooping waiting for him. At some point in that fight, if it go 12, it's gonna be accumulation of ass whooping Errol Spence on decision. Or Errol Spence gonna build up so much punishment, either the ref gonna have to stop it, the doctor gonna have to stop it, or Errol Spence gonna stop it. You dig what I'm saying? Y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments, man. Are y'all peeping what I'm peeping? Go back and watch Terence Crawford versus any southpaw he fought. Watch how he fought them in the southpaw stance, because that's where he comfortable. And they didn't have no jab for him to take away. He wasn't forced to fight in orthodox, which he gonna be forced to fight in orthodox versus Errol Spence if he wanna increase his chances of winning. If he try to go in there and fight Errol Spence southpaw, that jab gonna be in play all night and it's gonna get bad for him. Y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments. Contender regime boxing. I'll holler at y'all boys, man.